Dahlsim. Here he is. What do I want? Story for Dahlsim? Something to say about the fandom? My life with Dahlsim? Here's the thing. When I was young and I started playing Street Fighter, I had not found what you would consider a main yet. And I was bad at the game. Let's be honest about the situation. I was very young, and most people that were playing Street Fighter at that time, especially in my age group, were young. We were more than anything else button mashing, except for like the one or two moves that we kind of started to figure out. Of course, Ryu and Ken, it was very easy to kind of find a move here and there that really sat with you. And then as I got older, more stuff started coming out that was Street Fighter related. Turbo and things of that nature. And then, of course, they added characters around the new challengers. New challengers is where I found my main. I have mained Cammy for a long time, and I've actually won tournaments as Cammy in my area and was ranked pretty high back in Street Fighter 2 tournaments in this general area. But before that, there was this one cheap character, and that's what I'm going to call him, because when you're real young and you figure out that the shoulder buttons will let you reach all the way across the screen and punch a guy, or kick all the way across the screen and kick a guy, it's cheap, and it worked. And when you were a kid, you would spam those buttons and just kick, punch, or you do that duck. So you duck all the fireballs that were coming at you and then punch all the way under the fireball. He was cheap, okay? He wasn't cheap once I started learning the actual mechanics of the game and started figuring out that sometimes his reach would be his downfall. He would he would jump and he would float, so it was real dangerous. You didn't want to jump with him necessarily. And that corkscrew attack that he had when he jumped and he came down like that left him very open to things like uppercuts and other things of that nature, especially things like the cannon spike. So I do find it funny how my attitude changed over the years with him in general, and it really kind of is a testament to growing up and kind of learning motor skills and getting more competent at the things you're doing, and you're no longer just hitting buttons. And the guy that you used to use to win matches because he was cheap and he was easy to win with, you started to find out that unless you were good with him, that actually wasn't the case as soon as you started fighting people that knew how to play the game. And I actually find that very interesting in terms of my life in general. I just do. Let's open this guy up. Okay, that was a lot. This guy was taped in there, and he was banded in there pretty hardcore. We did get a background. We got this. It's fine. These backgrounds are what they are. They're a little bit gimmicky, and you're not exactly going to get hardcore shots out of this. I kind of wish that these would be folded. I wish that these were folded over twice and they would unfold and be the actual full battle thing. That would be absolutely ideal. I realize that would affect the way that the boxes are. I'm not complaining necessarily. I'm just saying it would be real cool to actually have the whole thing with the elephants on each end and whatnot. And then it would really help for things like small photography ideas, because right now that's a very tight picture if you want to get anything going with it. But that being said, let's take a look at Dahlsim. First off, this guy is fantastic. But I have come to expect that from Jada. Jada Toys this is unreal. What we are getting from Street Fighter, from Jada Toys, the only other competitor that I can even name is Storm Collectibles, and I would argue that for price value, this is actually better than Storm Collectibles, because you will spend a lot of money on a Storm Collectible, and it will basically be a little bit bigger than this, and only a little bit better than this. On a personal note, That's what it feels like. This is so good, it's unreal for the price point. Like, this I was not expecting. That's a loose part. This is a loose part. These, the earrings, are loose. They're loose. They're loose parts. That I was not expecting for all of that to be done so well. The paint and everything on the face is applied very nice. Of course, this is an unbelievably movable guy, and not just in terms of he's bendy, but all of the Jada figures move so well. It is just unbelievable. Like, there's very little you cannot do, and I mean very little. In fact, there's almost no pose that you can't get away with in terms of the Jada figures. Like, it is absolutely unbelievable. Maybe you could argue crossing their arms in front of their chest is a little bit difficult because it very much depends on the butterfly joint, and depending on certain ones, it's really good, and certain ones it's not. Here, it's okay. He can go back further than he can go forward, and I am kind of pushing pretty hard, so that is what you're going to get out of it. But still no reason to be mad by any means. I don't think there's a pose necessarily that you are going to want to do that you won't be able to do with this guy. And at $24, like a $24 price point, these things are simply unbelievable. Also, just to put it out there, he comes with 2 karate chop hands, which he's already got on him right now. He's also got 2 grab hands. I'm just going to call them that. They're expression hands or whatever. And then he comes with a screaming head, which is actually pretty cool. It's a good one. That's a really good. That's good. I like that. He comes with a stand, which all these Jada figures have come with stands, and depending on what you're trying to do, the stands are important for the effects and whatnot. And for this guy, I imagine they're really important because of things like the long leg effect. Now, this leg plugs in right here. How tough is this to do? I'm not going to claim to necessarily know. We're going to figure out in real time right now what kind of a nightmare this is. So, I haven't heated him up or anything like that. Is this a pain? Came out fairly easy. It was still tight, but it did come out fairly easy. And it went in fairly easy. And this is a wire, so we can get this crazy wraparound kick or just an absolute straight out kick. And he holds it pretty well. And that's probably realistically what this is for, is pulling off something like a long kick like this. The other one that he has, let's switch the leg back real quick. There. That doesn't seem to have affected the leg. Like, that was something that I was curious of, is would the leg feel loose after you did that? No. I am not experiencing anything that I would call a problem right now. That's good. It's a little tight up here, but I don't think that's actually a problem. It just seems like the left and right, but the bottom moves well enough that that doesn't seem to actually be affecting anything. Now, I'm curious about the arms. Now, the arms, of course, also have these, and I don't think that that wrist comes off. If it does, then these are his punching hands. That feels... No. No, I do not believe... No. The 2 times I just pulled that, that feels like that's a part of that. I don't think that that comes off. Not necessarily a bad thing. I just wanted to know. So, this, as far as I can tell, is right here. So we want to pop this part out. Not too bad. Not too bad. I will say there's not a pop. Like normally when you put a socket in, you hear the and you pull it out. There's not a pop in terms of putting this on. It just kind of goes in place. The arm feels a little bit more flimsy than the leg does, if we're being completely honest. But at the same time, I'm not getting anything that that worry. I don't feel anything that worries me here. It's working. Okay. I don't know why this is goofy, but it is really cool. The way that he's standing currently right now is really goofy. But let's. Oh, well, there was a pop when I took it off that time. There just wasn't a pop putting it in. And there's the pop. Put his arm right back in place. No issues seem to have occurred from it. And now, Dahlsim, this is a fantastic figure. One problem. It is minor. It is minor, and I think we could argue it is on purpose. No Yoga Flame. No Yoga Fire, nor Yoga Flame. I'm lucky. I have collected enough figures to have fire. I have a dragon that shoots a big fireball thing. I can give that to him. So I can set up shots where he's breathing fire down onto the ground as a Yoga Flame. I can do that. I have fireballs. So I can do that. I can make him shoot the fireball. I will not have a problem. I have the effects to still have him do the fire effects in the fight photography, and I will not lose anything in the process. Some people will not have said effects, and they will just not be able to do that until they are released later. And we've already seen this, if I am not mistaken. Chun-Li came with the kicks. And if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember if it's coming soon or if it's already out. There's another version of Chun-Li that comes with the Hoken. So that means that they are already very well aware that this guy will also, of course, come later in a different version with the fire effects. And if you want said fire effects, you will have to wait or buy him again. And I was very curious about this rope. I just tried to pull it. This is just sculpted on. I don't know why, but for a second, because this part right here is coming off. And that made, since it's coming out, I thought maybe it was something that that it was a rope. So I tried to pull on it. It is not. That's sculpted. It's sculpted well enough that it tricked my eyes. That's cool. So, I'm not going to cry about that. But that is the only bad thing I have to say here. Dahlsim looks like Dahlsim. Dahlsim moves like Dahlsim. Dahlsim costs $24 and comes with these and their wireframe. They're wired inside so they could take whatever kind of little shape that you want them to take. That is sick. That is absolutely sick. I absolutely love that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fantastic. So, I've said this a couple of times. I say this for McFarlane figures. I will forgive a lot at a $20 to $30 price range. I will forgive a lot. But I will also say, aside from the fire effect, which I feel was kind of necessary for this character, I don't have anything to complain about. And me personally, I have nothing to complain about because I already have fire effects. This won't affect me. But if you're considering buying one, you will have to go out of your way to create or obtain a fire effect because he doesn't come with one. Dahlsim added to the shelf. Couldn't be happier. I will be fine with his shortcomings. Fantastic.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.